stuck here. The cops won't bother me. Well, today is kind of a warmish day. It rained overnight, and I'm taking this missile up to Costco because I need to pick up some prescriptions for my parents. Man, this bike is so heavy. I'm so not used to riding this thing. And by the way, right here you see this bit of plastic. I could either buy it for 20 bucks or I can get my kickstand up, or I could just try and re-weld it. I'm gonna see if I can re-weld it first, because apparently on Amazon it's not available. Oh man, this bike actually feels better when you have air in the tires. This thing's such a big bike. It feels so much better that I put air in the tires. Man, that's pretty cool. Man, this bike is comfortable. Wow, that's really cool. That's my first off-roading on this bike. It was actually pretty good. Oh man, I got some work on it. I'm gonna change the oil, but this bike kind of sat around for a while, and you know, it happens quite a bit. People move to DC and then they realize that DC is kind of small. I live kind of close. I don't need a 1300cc bike to get around, so they get rid of it. And this guy was a pretty interesting guy. He was like a IT guy. He kind of looked like a nerdy sort of guy. But I am glad I found this bike. I did kind of put it up for sale on ADV Rider just to see if I had any bites, but apparently nobody wants an FJR. But I don't really want to sell it because I want to enjoy it, and I also want to fix it up. But I was curious to see if I could get like 3,000 bucks for it. You know, everything that I own is always for sale. As long as you have enough money, I'll sell it to you. No big deal. 130, I think it's 130 pounds of torque here. It's extremely fantastic. I really like it. Oh, okay. The FJR is one of these bikes that really just likes high-speed stuff, but it seems to be well suited for in-town riding because the torque is just everywhere. You can put this in first and second gear and you can ride around town. It's not fully upright like a ADV bike, and I do miss that about the V-Strom and riding the NC. I do like that upright and back position, but this one's a little bit sportier, but it doesn't feel like it's an uncomfortable position. The batteries up here, I have already found a very nice thing with this bike. I had a tire inflator kit, and I just plugged it onto this 12-volt socket, and I, you know, blew up my tires to the proper PSI, and I didn't need to get my compressor out or anything. So just with that, I did like having it there. You know, usually it's just better to have weight down low, but for me, this bike is so heavy, so whenever I see people putting like heavier stuff on it, I just kind of cringe a little. The previous owner, you know, he had the Corbin seat and everything. The Corbin seat adds like 30 additional pounds. It's a heavy, like, freaking seat. And this seat, the stock seat that I'm using now, there's nothing wrong with it. There was a guy that suggested I get a BMW K1200R or something like that. It's one of their brick BMWs, and you know, it does make sense. It's kind of similar to this, but the problem with the K1200, whatever it is, it's like they're kind of ugly looking. I'm just not into the BMW style at all. I'm gonna go to Fort Meade. I'm just not into it. You know, a lot of people like it. I don't. I mean, I don't like the style of BMWs, and I don't like that whole elitism and snobbery that goes with BMW riders. You know, one of the things that I am considering for this bike, probably not at this go, is I'm going to dark side it. And this bike is completely suited for dark siding. It's a fantastic platform. One of the problems is that a lot of these big bikes with big power, they wear out their rear tires really fast. But this thing is heavy, it's powerful. It wears through tires like nobody's business. The rear tire is actually pretty decent, so I don't have to do much, but I do want to get a dark side tire for this. God, this thing is such a rocket. It's like I can't believe I'm this comfortable riding this bike. It's so comfortable. Alright, we're gonna go into the shopping center where there's a lot of Corona people here. Man, this bike is just so comfy. And now that I put air in the tires, it's like so much easier to maneuver at slow speeds. I was thinking that maybe that fucking goddamn I should have checked the air pressure. I mean, really, what am I doing not checking the air pressure? That's just like pure stupid. Oh man, look at this Costco people. The hell? This Costco does have a plan for the coronavirus, but quite a few lines to get in. This is like the worst place you want to come when there's an outbreak. Well, I got the prescription, at least one of them, so at least that was good. But now I have to go back and get an additional prescription for them. So I'm just running like errands left and right nowadays. It's actually pretty good at low speeds. I mean, it's harder than the NC, but not as bad. Now that I inflated the tires, it seems pretty good. It's kind of cool that this bike, I bought it so cheap. If you guys don't know, I picked this bike up for $1,000. Found it on the marketplace, and I think it's one of these things that the rider that owned this FJR really loved it. You can tell that he loved it because he commuted on it for a while, and he's got like, he was telling me about like the steel braided brake lines, and then I'm looking at them, they're anodized blue, so there's a lot of little accents of blue. So the guy was replacing things left and right, and he put a lot of love into this bike. And it's kind of cool because 2005, that's a pretty old bike. But I'm glad that people like it, because a lot of times people are really not into these older bikes. Yeah, this bike definitely moves pretty well. We're gonna hop on the highway here. Yeah, you can get a Ninja 250 for $1,000 bucks, but I mean, if you don't mind doing a little work on these bikes, you could have a fantastic bike that will last you your lifetime. And it is a fast rocket. 60 miles an hour. My NC would be struggling at this point, but this bike is just nothing to it.